Hooray, budgets, everyone's favorite. No, no one likes budgets, not even me. But the truth is that budgets are a lot like diets. If you do it right, you have a lifelong plan that provides you security and overall happiness. Do it wrong, and you quit after a week and you end up watching The Notebook on the couch, eating Pop-Tarts and Ben & Jerry's ice cream. It's also me. Yeah. Don't worry guys, by the end of this video, you'll know how to do budgeting right so you don't feel like you're going to a pizza restaurant but ordering the salad with no dressing, because no one likes that. You will learn my method that has allowed me to save over $100,000 in spite of only making $50K a year, and I pass this philosophy down to my clients as well. Let's get going guys. My name is Bradley Jared and you are watching the Millennial's Guide to Money, where we dominate our finances so we can own our life. Let's begin. Step one, you gotta figure out what is the reason why. What emotional connection do you have to even care about budgeting? Just like a diet. Is it because someone bullied you? Is it because your parent died of heart disease? You need a why. Why is it so important? And for me, the biggest thing why is the stress. I don't want stress. I don't want you to have stress, and I don't want you to be miserable in your future because you're not taking care of your finances today. Figure out that why and get it ingrained. Step two is to understand exactly what's coming in and what's going out. So for a diet, that's calories, protein, carbs, fat. For your finances is how much income is coming in, where are the sources, and then what is going out. And it's a lot easier to understand, well, rent is $800 and my car is $500. It's a lot harder to see those small bills, that $5 subscription here, that $8 expense here. Your Starbucks could be $150 a month if you don't realize it. I spend about $90 a month at Starbucks. Hey, at least I'm aware. You have to use credit card statements from the last month, the last year, get a good overall idea of where your money's going. A great idea is to use mint.com or an app like EveryDollar, which tracks it for you. You do not want to let this go, because just like a diet, you could say, hey, well, I ate a piece of chicken and that's low calorie, and I had this and this is all low calorie, but then you don't add up the oil or the butter, which is loaded with calories, and you're like, I can't lose weight. Why can't I lose weight? Yeah, because you need to count everything at first. Once you have it all, you need to determine what is a healthy budget. Now, as a Dave Ramsey preferred finance coach, I go off of his template because it is safe, it is conservative, and if you can adjust to his philosophy, you will make it, all right? So his is pretty much charitable gifts, 10 to 15%. Your savings, 10 to 15%, housing, 25 to 35%, utilities, 5 to 10%, clothing, 2 to 7%, I mean, like whatever. Insurance, 10 to 25%, yeah, insurance can be a lot. Recreation, the fun stuff, only 5 to 10%, and then your debt, 5 to 10%. Now, obviously, depending on what city you live in, housing could be way higher, transportation could be lower, but that is the template that you want to get familiar with, because it is not normal to have 30% of your budget on recreation. No wonder you're in debt, because insurance and housing and food, other things are necessary, okay? Now, my step 4 is to look at the top 20% of your bills. There's this thing called the 80-20 rule, where 20% accounts for 80%. So 20% of your bills are only gonna be a few things, account for 80% of where your money is going. So for a lot of people, that is housing, transportation, and food. But look at your list and see, where is that 20% that if I really hone in on this, if I really dominate and focus on this, everything else will be fine. Because just like a $30 gym membership, if you ditch that, sure, that's $30. But if you go from $1,500 a month in rent down to $1,000, hey, $500 is way more than 30. So to apply the 80-20 rule, I'm gonna give you an example from a former client. I'm gonna name him Gary, because I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk. Here are his numbers. Take a look here and tell me what you see. What is the 80-20? Those 20% of bills that is taking up 80% of his income. If you take a look, it's definitely housing, food, recreation, transportation. You look at there's 4 bills there that is taking this huge chunk of his money. So if Gary just focuses on what he can do in those 4 areas, all the other stuff doesn't matter. His clothing budget of $100 a month doesn't matter when he can really do damage by switching his housing or transportation or food budget. So when I worked with Gary, we found out that he has a fancy 1-bedroom in downtown, a really cool apartment that's very close to work, and he loved it, but it was just a small little place in the middle of everything. So of course, his food budget was higher because he lived in the middle of all these restaurants, but he also had this nice car that sat there most of the time. He was paying money for a parking space at his apartment, and yet he lived so close that he could walk or bike to work. So now he's paying all this money for a car he doesn't even use. It's like, you can have the nice apartment that is location based and where everyone wants to be, that's close to his work, but then why would you pay so much for a vehicle to just sit there and then pay for a spot for the vehicle just to sit there? So we ended up working out that Gary could sell his car, buy a bicycle, and then just Uber, just to try it out. He ended up doing it, and it's saving him $500 a month. Of course, once in a while he misses having a car, but he could rent a car, and for the amount he's saving, it's fine. Then also looking at his rent, he was paying $1,500 for a 1-bedroom, but he had a good buddy that he went to college with that he ended up living with. I told him, dude, go and live with your friend. You'll both save money. You both enjoy each other's company. You can get a 2-bedroom, and that saved him about $750 a month right there. All of that can roll into things that matter a lot more for him. We also worked on cutting down his bar tabs. Drinking is one of the worst ways to spend money. It's bad for your health, it's bad for your productivity, and it costs a lot of money. And also bringing lunch just 2 days a week, just trying it out. So now he's saving an additional $250 a month off of that. By finding these really big areas to cut down on, but finding also the ways that's not so painful, the things that you don't care so much about, you can really do damage. So Gary was able to save over $1,300 from his bills that he could roll into his debt, so he could be debt-free and he could live with a lot more clarity and without all this freaking stress from always owing and always having to work overtime to pay for things like his car that was just sitting there. The next step would be go down the smaller things. Is there a gym membership that's $100 a month that there's a gym at your apartment that's free and it's pretty much the same thing? Well, then go there. Or be honest, you don't go to the gym, you just don't go. Well, in that case, don't pay $100 for it. The bottom line is you want to focus on the big stuff first, but then always go down and see where the $9 a month programs, subscriptions that you're not using. $9 is $9. It's not much, but if that pays for lunch 1 day of the month, then get rid of it if you're not using it. The last step is to tweak it every single month. Just like a diet, you see what works, you see what doesn't work. Maybe you really want to eat out for lunch every day. Okay, that's a priority. That's a money dial. Let's find a way for you to eat out lunch every day at work because that brings you a lot of joy. But that also means that you need to cut out somewhere else that doesn't bring you joy. So it's always a tweaking. Your income will always fluctuate. You might get some bonuses. You might get less hours. You might lose a client. Certain things happen, but you want to make sure you're always intentional with your spending and you're always saving and paying off debt. You do not want to be in a situation where you're relying on every bit of your work to pay for all your bills, which keep growing and growing. Remember that a budget is there to empower you, not to restrict you. It's a way to show where your money can go to maximize your enjoyment in life and hopefully reinvest in yourself rather than just blow it on alcohol. But the point is that it's there as a tool. It should be fun. It should be something where you can create the life of your dreams using the money that's coming in rather than being stressed out or feeling like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this. The truth is, you can. You just have to pick and choose what is most important and what's not. Let me know what works for you. Has this video helped? Has this relating to diet thing helped? Because to me, I see it like, boom, parallel right there. Let me know, and I will see you on the next episode. That sounded like a Snoop Dogg. Is that Snoop Dogg? Next episode? Yeah, Snoop Dogg. See ya.